How are you inspiring yourself? Today I finished listening to The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield for the second time. First listened a few years ago. And basically, there's a whole bunch of insights into the human condition and dynamics and spirituality, and it's fascinating. But what's really cool about this book is that it is written like a fiction novel, like an adventure, but still has a spiritual basis. Uh, so yeah, was really enjoying that and finished that, and then realized because there is follow-up books which are a lot harder to find, and especially on audiobooks. So I thought, oh, maybe there's a podcast that has an updated uh an update on where he's at with these insights now, or at least in recent years. And yeah, sure enough, there is. But also, it reminded me that there's actually a film that they made. It's about 20 years old, but yeah. So I started watching that today, and it's good to get like a visual medium to have the characters stick in my brain a bit more than when I just listen to an audiobook, because sometimes I can listen to something and I remember the general vibe of how it made me feel, but might only be able to recall a couple of like actual quotes from it or key points. I still know that the information is like taken in by me, but it's not the same as when as a kid I would just sit down and just devour books through actual reading. Um, and it's also a way that I receive the information in a faster, more digestible way. So I'm totally fine with that. And I think if anybody likes to listen to audiobooks over actually reading, you do you. I mean, if it's unabridged, it's still the same content. You just are digesting it in the way that serves you. So, love that. And I say that as an avid reader as a kid. I was such a book nerd. Still am. I just book nerd over audiobooks mostly now, and tend to only get physical books when they're something to do with like that's got kind of like a workbook element to it, or just something real special, or something a friend made, or there's a few rare occurrences, but most of the time I'll just use the library or listen to audiobooks, unless it's like a picture book or like a beautiful coffee table book. Even then, I'm a traveler right now, so I don't have time for any of that right now. And anyway, I've got different ways I inspire myself through what I consume. And there's a lot of things that I consume that don't really serve me, and things that I've cut back on, which does serve me to cut back on. But then there's things like, yeah, when I listen to spiritual books like this, especially if it's, something that's got a lot of potent spiritual insights, um, and coming back to it when I know that I was feeling a bit foggy on it, but in remembering that it really was enjoyable and helped me at the time I first listened, it just means that I've got more lenses for my perspective of the world as to how I can best serve myself and those around me. And I love that. I love that. So yeah, I've been watching the movie. I didn't make it the whole way through, um, because my brain is very distractible. I mean, I also decided to watch a movie with my new flatty, so that was lovely. But yeah, um, it's nice to find inspiration, and to have a good chunk of it in something that's a bit of a longer form over, the short reels on Instagram we watching, and we spend so much time watching. it's so hard to actually sit down and concentrate on a movie or a TV show these days because our attention span has just been shot. um, but you're never going to get anything that deep from a short reel. And I hope here, showing up here, I'm providing some inspiration in your life. And we want to be careful about how much we're looking externally to receive our information, our validation, our information really, because you've got to make sure that you're listening to yourself for your best and highest, first and foremost, to live a life that's true to you, and your sovereign soul, your being. No one else can tell you what is right for you but yourself. But you have to get quiet. You have to spend that time with yourself to get to know yourself in order to be able to decide at quick intervals when something's right for you or not. If you don't know who you are or what you want, likelihood is decisions are real hard. Or maybe you think you know who you are because that's what people have been telling you are for a very long time, and maybe you've started delving into this kind of personal development work and you've realized, oh, no, that was somebody else that wanted that for me. And well, then who am I if I'm not that person? Well, again, I would just invite anyone in that circumstance or something similar to just invite that curiosity in, because that's a lot. If you realized, I mean, for instance, Alison Stoner, who was a child actress, that she was on Camp Rock and Disney Channel stuff. She shared about how her mum had a dream of being an actress, and so when she became a child actress, she was just trying to please her mum, make her mum happy, which she did, and that's how she made her mum happy, by doing good at the acting thing. And then she didn't even realize all these years as a child, she was doing it for the validation of her mum, who wanted to be an actress. But it was never her dream, and she only realized this when she kind of reached adulthood. And obviously that was quite a rude awakening to realize that you were doing something for the validation of your parental figure that actually wasn't properly looking out for you. She was looking out for what she thinks your life should be, you know? But then, humans make mistakes, and maybe her mum didn't know she was doing that and thought it was also her dream. I feel like she may have shared more in the book that wasn't the case, but for an example. And so commonly we are taught to go after whatever's been conditioned into us by our guardians, our parents, our elders, and if we're not willing to question that, or even have the moment to question it, we can so easily go along with it and then just have this dark night of the soul when we realize that's not us, that's not what we want. And it's also okay if that's our journey. Maybe that's got to teach us something. I think, I love the idea of noticing these things earlier in life so that people don't have to go through years of pain and hardship to realize what's not working. But at the same time, each person's journey it's theirs for a reason, and there's choices that they make that stay on that path, that might keep it, keep the reckoning from coming for a while. Maybe they truly enjoy where they're at until they don't, um, yeah, but it's very easy to seek external validation, is my point. So it's also like, I still think it's important to get inspired from outside sources other than yourself, but priority should be you, getting to know you to the level that you know when it's you speaking and when it's conditioning or somebody else's voice in your head, or what society expects of you. The more you can cultivate that, cultivate your voice, you speaking, your perspective, and able to prioritize that for yourself, um, the more deep and soulful and sovereign you will feel in your life. Those are wonderful things to feel. I know I started at a completely different spot in this video. Yeah, getting inspired. There we go. That's it. So yeah, I love finding there's many inspiring people I follow and have enjoyed the work of, and that all gets to make up my perspective, my unique perspective. You know, adding all these different just people I've read books of or watched videos, movies, books, documentaries about, um, just, you know, social media videos, and like my coaching course, and working in the film industry for many years, and traveling for many years. Like that's all for, like, it's all like created my lens, my unique perspective, and it's mine. And that has something to bring to the world, and I'm so grateful for that. And it's a lot of external sources that help me feel like me and feel worthy, but I also need to take time to sit with myself to be like, well, without all that, who am I? And if all that was taken away, would I be happy with who I am? Would I be okay? I mean, of course. But we are the perceiver. We're the, like, if you try and say, who are you? You might say where you're from or who's your family or, you know, your name. But actually, who are you? Behind all the job titles and where you've been, what you've done, who you're related to, who are you? How do you answer that question? And I know I've learned this from somewhere, but we are, I cannot remember exactly where, but we are the perceiver. We are the observer. We are not our bodies. We are not our minds. We are not our thoughts. We are the observer of all these things. Here for a human experience. It's pretty cool, really. Pretty cool. Anyway, I'll leave it there for tonight. But make sure you're tuning into you. And by you, I mean that observer. And only through that observer do you get to think the thoughts, take the action, create the things that you want in your life. Take in that external information, but also listen to your internal information and take action to put that out into the world, so that you might be someone else's external inspiration, or whatever someone else might need one day. Today. Okay, much love. I'll see you tomorrow.